Let's do this. So,
na Huduma Namba, so haiza tatueleza.
Ngoja ni fix hii.
Okay, you're going to probably have to start
over. Sakama, what's the word get?
Kufanya kazi. That's what she's trying to say.
Shizongonchigu. Eh. Hi, hamjambo.
Sasa,
my name is Kaiza.
My name is Teresia.
And we are going to be talking about the Huduma Namba and e-passport process. Obviously, we're both Kenyan, so that's why we can talk about that. And we are talking about the diaspora experience of getting those documentations.
And just in case you're not a Kenyan and you're wondering, hey, what are they talking about? Kenyans, as Kenyans, we are required to update our passports.
We have a new digital, is it digital passports? Or like they call them the e-passport?
Because I haven't actually had it in my hands.
No,
but
yeah.
Probably that's what it is. But the whole issue was we needed to get new passports.
And the Huduma number is kind of like the social security number in the United States. So they're trying to compile all our information, where if you needed to get social services or government services, they would have all the information in one place under one identification. So if you wanted to go get your NHIF card or your KRA PIN, all that information, you wouldn't have to bring your birth certificate, your ID card, all that, because it would already be in the system digitally. So we will be talking about the registration process, the embassy process, and our opinion on how the whole thing went.
I had an opportunity to at least register for my e-passport, and that's what I'm going to be talking about.
And I did the Huduma number, and that's what I'll be talking about. We went to the embassy, and we had to bring Orie because I didn't have childcare for that day. So we had to bring the baby. Which complicated things a little bit. So if you can find somebody to take care of the child, if you have children that are under the age of 6 and they don't require the Huduma number, I would recommend that you do that and not bring the child to the embassy, because it does make it a little bit harder.
Yes. Mothers, you may want to listen to that.
Yeah. So we had Orie at the embassy, and I would say there was a long line of people. I mean, by long, I mean about 20 and 30. And it's long because not the amount of people, it's the amount of time it took to process each person. So that it took a long time, because I think it was 30 minutes between each group of people that would go through the room to go to the next step of it. So after a few hours, actually we'd been there for like a couple of hours, and like, I see this child, he's starting to get tired. So we'll just help you along. So they helped us along. Thank goodness for those staff members. Shout out to the embassy staff. So that kind of helped us a little bit. Getting to the second room, immediately they will ask for your birth certificate and your passport. And if you don't have your birth certificate, then your Kenyan ID and your passport will work great as well. So birth certificate is for people under 18, or for those who don't have IDs like me. And then if you're over 18, then you present your Kenyan ID and your Kenyan passport. When you get there, they'll take your picture with their tablets, and then they'll do your biometric information. So they'll take fingerprints of each finger on each hand. The only thing that I would say about that part of the process, is that the tablets kept on malfunctioning, and they would sometimes have to restart the tablet just to get the process going again. So that would eat so much of the time and would just make it longer. The reason actually we thought we'd go in and out was Jeff Koinange. He was like, we saw the news segment where he came to the United States and they were talking, and he was saying how, there wasn't any lines.
It's so brief enough.
No.
Actually,
go there early.
Yes, and just almost have an entire day just to do that.
Yeah, don't expect to go in and out, especially if the longer you wait, as the process winds down. I think there'll be more people trying to rush in, because especially in the United States, we are serving, I think, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. So I expect it to be packed all through to the end of June. So get there as quickly and as early as you can so that you can get your Huduma number and your e-passports. And remember, the e-passport, the deadline is coming up in September, so your old passport will be kaput, so you won't be able to use it at all. So if not the Huduma number, at least make sure your passport is up to date.
Yeah, last minute people, come on. We're running
Fanyeni haraka.
late there, so you may want to get that updated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for Kenyans out there, Wakenya nyumbani, please just let us know what your experience has been doing the entire process back home.
Yeah, because I expect our experience will be different since we're doing it at the embassy. Let us know in the comments how it was for you back home going through the Huduma and the e-passport, if some of you went through the e-passport process already. And for those who are in Europe as well, let us know in the comments how that went. So the Huduma number process was shorter, I would say, was much quicker than the e-passport one. But then there were challenges for you, which you discussed.
Absolutely.
So to begin with, you had to go online at the eCitizen website, or I'll put the website down here somewhere. So you go to the website, you have to go and register yourself. They will send you a code to your email. And for me, it took several tries to get that code, as well as several email addresses. Because once you use one email address and it doesn't come through, you have to like go through another email address to get that code. And the code helps you to go into the website and register yourself, and you get a number that when you get to the embassy will help them identify your profile, and then they'll continue with the process from there.
And actually, at some point when we were getting our passports done, I think they said they had a malfunction or something, and they had to coordinate that from New York and Nairobi and something like that, and that went on for probably half an hour, and then the next thing you know is, oh, we're shutting down, you're done for the day, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm halfway done in my process, so what next?
Yeah. So it was, all in all, it wasn't the most efficient process. I feel like there could have been a better planning in the Huduma number side. So she will talk about the passport side. But for the Huduma number side, there would have been better planning in that the tablets could at least be working properly. Maybe it was just a glitch on that day that we were there, and that the Huduma numbers weren't that great. Not the Huduma numbers. That the tablets weren't working that great. So that's the one thing I would say about that part of the process. I would like to shout out the embassy employees. Some of them were very helpful and very nice, and yeah, they went above and beyond the call of duty to help us out.
Just on that note, I want to appreciate this gentleman by the name Abdi, who was very, very helpful, and anyone hearing this can do something about it. He needs to be actually appreciated for the good work that he did. He went out of his way above and beyond just to make sure that the process was running smoothly for us, the applicants, and we got everything done like it should have in the minimal time possible that we could be able to do that.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the e-passport side of the application. She's the one who did it, so I'll let her start talking.
Patience. Yani subira. That one you will need it. The process was not as efficient as I expected it to be, so you probably need to exercise a lot of patience.
So to start, how did you start the process of getting your e-passport?
Just like the Huduma, you had to jot your names down, and then they called them in bunches of 5.
But before you got to the embassy, did you have to fill a form online?
Yes, I did, absolutely. But I encountered a couple of hitches with it. There's a code that you need to be able to proceed with the application form. Unfortunately, actually I had talked to her before I started doing it, and she told me she had to use a couple different email addresses to be able to do that. Now, I only have 2 email addresses to use, and one is a little bit private, so when I tried the first one, I said it must work, so I wasn't willing to use my other private email address to do it, so I went ahead and just sent it, waited for a response because she had already cautioned me about it. It took her almost a whole day to be able to get a response back.
The call
right?
back, yeah.
Yeah. So I waited for a day, another one. Then the day came that I had to travel. Actually, I'm at her place. I'm camping
She
at her
came
place.
from Iowa, you guys.
Yeah, I'm camping at her place.
This is okay, but before you continue, this is so inconveniencing for people who don't live close to the consulates or embassies.
Yes.
So in the United States, there are only 3 locations that you can do this. You can do it in New York, in LA, or in Washington, D.C., and that's where we are. I mean, we are close to Washington, D.C. So that means you have to travel. If you live anywhere else, you have to travel to the embassy to do it.
It's such an inconvenience because honestly, the travel, it's even more costly than the actual process itself. And I feel like it's an inconvenience. They should come up with a way or just an alternative where we can be able to do it from where we are, because we're having to travel from very far places to
And then
to
the hours are very limited. They open from 9 to 4 p.m. and even before 4 p.m. they tell you tunamaliza kazi, atuoni watu wengine. It's like, you know, hey, you guys, you're here, but we're not going to see you because it's the end of the workday. So I don't know if they could open on Saturday or like make the hours longer. I don't know, but they could be a little bit more accommodating so that people are able, who are traveling from far, be able to get their papers done. So sorry to interrupt you, but
no, that's okay.
you had to start the process online, right?
Yeah, so when I started the process, I actually had to start. I thought I had made some progress, but heck no. I don't think I made any progress because I had to start the process all over again. So I got this code. Obviously, my international number could not work, so I had to get this code using a different number. And then once I had the code with me, then I was able to start the process. The application form doesn't actually take a long time. You probably need 5 to 10 minutes and you're done with that. The only problem I would say with the entire process is efficiency. It's not so much of a hassle. It's that the process is not as efficient as I thought it would be. So after you get the code, the rest of it is self-explanatory. You just fill out the form and then you have your biometrics done, and then I don't know what happens after that because I know it's being lousy on my part. I probably should have asked how I'm going to get this document, but I forgot.
So they might send her passport. Maybe they'll leave it at the embassy.
I don't know.
And then you have to come and pick it up.
No, wait. In the application process, I think there's a slot that I had to fill in my local address. So my assumption is they'll probably send it over there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What I would have to say is maybe have a self-addressed envelope with stamps on it, just in case, so that when they're done with your passport is ready, they can use that self-addressed envelope to send your passport back to you. Otherwise, maybe if you live close to the consulate or close to the embassy, then you might have to go in and pick it up yourself.
But I'm not too worried. I have her here, so I'll probably send her. Ende akaangalie kama imenini. Unamsikia? Unamsikia? Ende akaangalie kama wamemalizia. Yes, kama wamemalizia.
She has to pay me to do that. No free, nothing free.
Unamsikia? Anyways, na Wakenya mwenye mlichukua passport zenu mkiwa nyumbani, tuambieni how your experience was. Was it efficient? Was it a hassle for you guys? Just tell us.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah. Let's commiserate. Let's, share our stories and see how we can help our government serve us better, because this time it wasn't efficient at all. Like as we said before, we had the baby and it just made things a little bit more complicated. And if the process was more efficient, we wouldn't have felt it as much as we did. And then there were people who were there several times. Like there's a lady who said that was there 3 days. She came back for like 3 days and still she wasn't completely done. So there's something lacking there. I think they need to look into.
They need to just get a little bit more organized. It shouldn't be as bad if at all, they were a bit organized than they were. Especially
if you started the process online. So the process is like you have to go put in a phone number, right? You have to put in your phone number and then they will send you a code. And that code is what you use to get into the website?
Yes.
To start
you're already in the website. So
what's the code for
just,
then?
It kind of just takes you to the next step of the application process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like just taking you to the next step of the,
Okay. So
the
I
next
haven't
page.
done it
In
yet,
other
so
words-
I'm learning
In other
along
words,
with you
ni kama
guys.
inakupeleka the next page sasa, kind of a thing. Yeah, so patience. I cannot
Subra.
stress
Waswahili
that
wasema
enough.
kuwa na subra.
Patience when you're going for your application process. Alafu kabla sahau, kuna nini tuko nje na kuna nini bustani yake
Look at you,
hapa.
unanifanyia shout out. Okay.
Yeah, so she's going to tell us what she did with her.
Yeah, so check out my gardening videos if you haven't already. They will probably be linked in the description. So this is, I have some broccoli which are flowering already, some Swiss chard and some spinach and other little things that are down here that you can't really see.
Okay, about the broccoli. Kwanza, I thought they were sukuma wiki.
They're
Mshamba
not.
mimi. I thought they were, I've not done farming, so nilikuwa nadhani ni sukuma wiki, but
Inakaa kama sukuma wiki, by the way. The leaves, I cook it as sukuma wiki. So yeah, I eat the whole plant except for the stalk. But I eat the broccoli and the leaves, and then these are the Swiss chard ambao Wakenya tunapendanga kuita spinach. It's not spinach. And the spinach is right here. Yeah, so check out my gardening videos, guys. Okay. Thank you.
bye.
Bye.